Hello and welcome to Pink Monarch Prints. My name is Bobby and I'm a guest designer today, and I am from Precious Memory Boxes Junk Journaling here on YouTube. And today we are going to be using the Vintage Market subscription kit. It's the 2025 November kit, and we are going to be making a triple fold tag, or you could call it a little folio, whichever you would like. It's quite simple to make. I just took a piece of 65-pound cardstock and I, on both sides, printed the printables. So I chose the red one for this one and a more neutral for the inside with scripty writing. And then I cut it at 9 by 6, so 9 wide, 6 length. And then I scored it on 3 and 6, so that way all my tags were even. And then I simply just took the tag punch I had, but if you have a tag, let's see, I've got one here we could use, and you can just line this up and snip it off, line up this side, snip it off, and there you have your tag. If you want your cuts a little bit deeper, you can certainly adjust that any way you like. So I thought it would just be fun, to make a tag, triple fold tag. And I've tried to make it simple so that it won't be a long project, but it can certainly a fun one. So in the kit, there are these strips of like faux washi. And so I picked this green one here, and I'm simply going to glue it down in the middle. And that way I can add some little, ooh, that came out really fast, that glue. I can add some little fun pieces there. So I'm going to glue that right at the top. And then I'm going to come down here and grab my scissors and snip this off right where we need it. Of course, you could pre-do this. I'm always doing things last second. That's me. So I'm going to glue that down, and if it's still a little bit too long, we'll cut it off there at the end. But let's go ahead and glue that down so that can dry. Then in the kit are these pockets that we can use, and I just grabbed a few different ones, and they are the perfect size for these. You can go ahead and score them on a scoreboard if you have your scoreboard, or you can simply just fold them over, and that's what I'm going to do here. Is I'm just going to eyeball them and fold them over. Okay, there we go, and that's what they'll look like on the back. You can use your bone folder if you want your folds a little crisper than mine. That one got off of me a little bit. Let me readjust it slightly. That's the nice thing about paper, is most of the time you can readjust it. So let's go ahead and let's glue this down. And with this type of pocket, it'll give you a little extra room in there so you can stuff, more than one item. So there we go. You can always cut your pockets if you want them to be in a different shape, or you want them to be a little longer. You can definitely always cut your pockets from the paper. There's 20 different designs of paper in the kit, so you can definitely make your own pockets if you like. But there are lots of pockets in the kit, and there's some larger ones, some smaller ones in between, so you can definitely make any of those work also. I folded that over a little too much, so I'm just going to trim it slightly so you won't see that. There we go. There's usually always a way to fix any little boo-boos we may make. I'm using Barely Arts glue, if you're wondering what type of glue I'm using. Just have it in a small dispenser bottle. All right, and I'm going to try to line that up the best I can with this other one here. You can certainly ink these. That would help the pockets to stand out better. I just didn't this time for the sake of, getting the project done. And of course, we can add in tags. Let's do a red over here. I am already in Christmas mode. I don't know about you guys, but I just want to do everything Christmas. So I've already been working on that. You can add a little piece of ephemera, and let's add the number with it. I am going to go ahead and just kind of ink around the bird here because he's a little more white than I want him to be. So I'll just use a little bit of my ink there. And we're going to attach him to the pocket. You get 2 bonus sheets of Christmas ephemera with your kit. So that this kit is really like just like it says, a vintage market kit with extras to use it for Christmas if you want. So it's a very versatile kit that you can use. All right, so we're going to add that there. Let's see. I've got several little pieces of ephemera here, so we can add a few of those in here in our belly band. There we go. You can definitely add in more to these pockets to make them a little fuller. And this one has a Christmas sled on it. That is really cute. All right. So there's basically the inside. We could add some more decorations here, and we may come back and do that. But let's decorate a little bit on the outside. I do want to take a moment and let's ink a little bit of the outside of our little tag folio here. I guess that's what we're going to call it, a tag folio. And just because sometimes when you cut your paper, you get white edges. And so if you do a little inking, that will help eliminate those white edges. Okay, I think I got most of those. There we go. So I really love this tag, and I'm thinking about making that the focal point on here. And I do love that. I'm wondering what it would look like if I ran a little lace down the center and then added that. What do you guys think? I think I like that. So let's do that. Okay, and since this is a bit of a thicker lace, I'm going to grab the Fabri-Tac here and put it down with that. You can use art glitter glue and Barely Arts glue to put down lace and stuff, but sometimes you have to, glue it more than once because it soaks into the lace and material that you're using. And if you're using cardstock, it'll be fine to use your Fabri-Tac. Paper, it might show through on and bubble, but usually if you're using a thick enough cardstock, it'll be fine. All right. So now I'm going to take my glue and add our focal piece tag here. And I'm going to go ahead and put a nice amount of glue on it. Get that little strap out of the way. And then I'm just going to try to center it up. Add that to the front. You could cut that out if you want, but I'm just going to leave it. No, I think it's fine. I was going to say maybe you could ink it a little bit to kind of scale back the white a little bit, but I think it's fine because it kind of matches the lace. So I think that'll be great. Now, I want to add something right here, and I was thinking about maybe either this or this. You can write on it. That way, if you want to write a little note, if you were giving this as a gift, You could, you know, add stamping if you want to do stamping. I'm just going to leave it as a little area to journal on. And this tag would go well in any journal that you're doing. Or you can give it as a little gift. You could also if you make your pockets a little bigger or your belly band, you can add a gift card in there if you want to use it for gift giving. So we have that there. We have that. I am thinking about maybe adding a pocket on the back. Now with this pocket, you can do one of two things. You can cut this out and have an open slot so that you can see what's down in it. Or you can take something else and try and find something a little smaller. You can glue something over that opening just to have a little decoration. And I think we might do that this time, just for something different. I usually cut the spot out, but I think that might be kind of fun this time. I am going to ink it a little bit. I think it's time to throw that little pad on that ink pad away. Get a new one there. Okay, so let me glue that down. And I'm going to try to kind of cover both sides. There we go. There we go. Need a little ink there. And then this pocket also has the little expanding parts there so that you have a larger pocket that you can use and fill more goodies in it. And we will go ahead and add this to the back. So if you're interested in this kit, make sure you go over to pinkmonarchprints.com and you can check out the two options they have for their subscription kit. Or you can, if you just want to make a one-time purchase of this particular kit, you can go to Pink Monarch Prints Etsy shop and purchase it there. But your best value is the subscription kit. If you love to make journals, if you love to make ephemera pieces, you know, folios, tags, anything you love to make, these kits are absolutely perfect for it. Okay, let's see what we can add. We've got this piece here that we could add to our pocket. We also have this one, so we're adding a little color there. I think this tag, did it fit? That tag might fit down in there. There we go, but let's turn it this way. There we go. And now you can see all the pieces in it. And then, so if we look back, we've got our little writing space here. I want to add, though, I did want to add, let's go ahead and add another piece. Will that fit in there? Nope, that one's a little too big for that pocket. We'll add it to the belly band. There we go. It's got a train on it, like a Christmas train. So let's add that in there to the belly band. We could add some of these more basic cards in here just to fill it up and give it a little color. There we go. So let's see, we've got all that. We've got our front and our back. And then I wanted to just give it a few, maybe a few sentiments. So I've got this from the kit. I'm just looking to see what is all here. Since I'm making it kind of Christmassy, I'm going to maybe grab a few things that might reflect Christmas. So this one says, "Give cheerfully." Let's do that one. Okay, let's see what else we have. Let's see. Live a life of purpose. We love that one. Be the reason someone smiles today. I like that one. And I think that even goes along with Christmas as well. Because Christmas is about bringing joy to others and celebrating Jesus' birth, of course, but bringing joy to each other and to others, and just, you know, spreading joy and love. All right, so let's trim this. I will go ahead, since it's a little white on the edges. Okay, so I'm trying to think where we want to use that. Oh, that might be a good spot. And I may go ahead and glue it down, and you just have to access the belly band from there. Do we want anything on the front? Trying to decide where we might like to have this one. Perfect. I think that looks perfect there. Let's go ahead and add that there. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and add this one up here. There we go. Be the reason someone smiles today. I really like that. We could also add something fun here in the center. And maybe we'll add a little Santa over there. I'm not sure which one I want. Do I want Santa? That one looks a little big. And the tree looks a little small. What about that might be good. Let's do that one. All right. So we'll put our cup of hot cocoa right there. Okay. I still kind of want to put something right here. So do we want to do a tree? Or do we want to do Santa? Santa might be good. Okay, let me move that. And I know I don't want to put any glue here. Maybe I should put the glue on here and just stick it down. You can always come back and add a little extra glue to needed places. And there we go. And I'm going to go ahead and finish stuffing all our extra pieces in here, because we've got plenty of room. Now it'll make your little journal a little thicker, but if you don't mind that, that's fine. All right. Now the last thing we need to do is maybe add a little tie around it, or a closure. And I've got this seam binding that's been dyed, and I just love the green color, so maybe we'll just do that. And I'm just going to go ahead and bring it around to the front. I'm not always the best bow tire, but we'll give it a try here. Or if you're not sure about a bow, let's do this. We'll just kind of do a loose double knot. And there you go. There is our little tag folio, triple tag folio. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys will make some of these to add to your Christmas journals, or to give to friends. You know, like we said, you could add a gift card in the center if you wanted to use it as a gift giving item. So thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.